Welcome to AZAM Community Podcast, Brewing Conversation, Moving Sarawak Forward. I'm Coach Arif Azahari, and today we have a very special guest with us. Now, you may have heard the phrase many times, PCDS 2030. Now, it's been on the lips of leaders and policymakers, often mentioned in speeches and headlines. But here's the real question: how much do we know in terms of the ordinary rakyat? How many of us really truly know what it's all about? Is it something that touches our daily lives or just another document sitting on a shelf? So, to put things into context, PCDS 2030 or the Post COVID 19 Development Strategy 2030 was introduced in 2021 as Sarawak's long term roadmap to move forward after the pandemic. And now in 2025, the state is preparing for a midterm review, which is a checkpoint, I should say it, to assess the progress, to track the key performance indicators, and see what adjustments are needed to stay on course. So, to help us explore this in depth, we're honored to have with us today Yang Berbahagia Datu Hii Chang Kee, the Deputy State Secretary Operations of Sarawak, where he oversees public communication, service transformation, and digitalization of government services. He was also the CEO of the recent 21st Sukma, where we did really well. Okay, congratulations on that, Dato'.
Thank you.
He's also the acting chairman of Sarawak Events, Business Events Sarawak, BE Sarawak, director of Leadership Institute of Sarawak Civil Service, and as well as director of Status Singapore. So previously, he led the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, steering the sector through a pandemic and contributing to the establishment of Borneo Culture Museum. A Harvard Kennedy School graduate, Dato' Hii brings decades of experience in governance, innovation, and tourism, making him the key voice in shaping Sarawak's future. So welcome to the studio, Dato'.
Thank you, Arif.
Okay, so with that, let us dive in. Yeah. Now, if PCDS is like a map, uh, do we really know where we're heading, or are we just following road signs without knowing the final destination? So many people hear the term PCDS, but still feels that it is quite distant or rather abstract. So Dato, let's start simple, Dato. Could you explain PCDS 2030 in a way that ordinary people can easily digest or understand?
Yeah, I think PCDS or post-COVID-19 development strategies, you should know the background, right? Why do we have this roadmap? Now, in 2020, so everybody faced a very disruptive event, which is the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think our leaders, especially our premier, has that vision. After this pandemic, what should we do? There should be some very transformative plan and roadmap. So that's why we set up the SEAC or Sarawak Economic Action Council. So with that, we came out not only from the government, but actually we engage with the grassroots leaders, the community to come up with post-COVID-19 development strategies 2030. So in a nutshell, it is a long-term roadmap where we want Sarawak to become a thriving society by the year 2030. All right? And inside, we have three main pillars. I think everybody should know about these three pillars. Number one, this plan wants to achieve economic prosperity. And it's very different from conventional plan because it moves away from traditional economic sectors, going into a lot on digital economy, going into green economy.
Right.
So of course everybody wants economic prosperity. So that's what we want first thing. But number two, for lay people, I think you would like this to happen because this plan is not only talking about economic prosperity, but we want to cascade this prosperity down to every level. That's why we have this social inclusivity as a second pillar. Very important to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, to bridge the gap between the rural and the urban, to bridge the gap between those who have access to internet and those without access to internet, to bridge the gap between those who have water and those who doesn't have clean water. So this is how the second pillar is, to make sure everybody enjoys the cake of economic prosperity. And number three is equally important. We talk about sustainable environment or development. Because I think when we progress, when we enjoy the cake of the economic prosperity, but we must make sure the environment is protected. We do not want to enjoy our generation, but what happened to the future generation if we don't protect and preserve our environment? So you can see PCDS is moving away from traditional strategic plan or strategic roadmap. So in a nutshell, by 2030, you and I, our generation, our future generation, will enjoy a truly thriving Sarawak in this region. And we have economic prosperity. We enjoy social inclusivity. And number three, we have a sustainable environment. So this, in a nutshell, everybody should understand what is PCDS 2030 for you, for me.
That's quite a very holistic strategy, Dato. Yeah. So when we talk about plans and strategies, Dato, sometimes it comes and go.
Yeah.
And sometimes the public sees them as just another government blueprint. So my question is, what makes this one different? What makes it more than just another blueprint? And why do you call it Sarawak's game plan?
Yeah. So as I mentioned just now, it's no longer a short-term plan, right? It's up to 2030. Okay. And then it is built on actually going beyond the traditional economic sectors, right? So we are moving into new economic sectors, especially digital economy, especially green economy. So that's why we say this is no longer a traditional, conventional plan. It moves into new areas. Now, another thing is, most often strategic planning just stop at strategies,
That's
right?
right.
But if you look up, all right, it's available on the internet anyway, that PCDS, apart from the very high level strategies, pillars, it is translated down into very down to earth, ground level action plan. So we have 2 volumes of action implementation plan for PCDS. And not only that, but I think if you look at what we have achieved thus far, all right, since 2021, we have achieved a lot, which we could elaborate further, as we go along. So it's no longer just another plan, right? It is a real, practical, implementable plan, not for the government, it's for you, for me, for all Sarawakans.
I think that really sounds assuring, Dato. Okay. Now, the year 2030, it sounds like very far away, 2030. You talk about in the 5 years down the road. But at the same time, the midterm review in 2025 would definitely remind us that time actually moving really quickly. Yeah. So why is it designed to stretch all the way to 2030? And what risks do we face if we ignore this direction, Dato?
Yeah. So I think you should know this is a transformation plan, right? So we know if you talk about transformation, it takes a lot of planning, all right? It takes a lot of analysis, all right? So for changes to take place, especially transformation, it takes time. So no longer it is just a 1 year, 5 years plan, but actually we need to stretch it up to 2030, right? So we set those targets which are transparent, which are announced. So I think you and me, we can actually track the progress of PCDS, and it's no longer another conventional plan. So I think every Sarawakian, for that matter, we should be able to know exactly what is PCDS 2030. especially how it impacts us, right? You and me as Sarawakian by the year 2030. So if you missed it, all right, if we take we don't care attitude, I think you will miss it. Yeah, just like everybody is going for a picnic, right? Everybody sees that, wow, that picnic is going to bring good time for us. So we move together in a bus, right? So probably some may take it very leisurely. No, I think, so you miss the bus, all right? So I think everybody should be with the government on the same bus. We move together, not for the government, but for you and me, for the prosperity of Sarawak, the people, especially our future generations.
Okay. Well said. So we don't want to miss the bus at all. We want to be we want to be together in the bus. So let's move on to the next set of conversation at all. But many people don't really know about PCDS. So most of the time we hear about mega projects that made the headlines. Okay, but behind the scenes there are also initiative already at work.
Yeah.
Sometimes quietly, sometimes even without people really knowing it.
Right.
So this is something the public often misses. The smaller initiative that don't make the front page, but still touches life. So, Dato, could you share with us some initiative that are quietly running yet directly impacting the lives of the rakyat?
Yeah. So rightly said by you, I think PCDS is not about mega projects only, right? Of course, those are visible will be those which are in the headlines every day, like the 16 bridges we are talking about,
Yeah.
the coming new airport, the coming new port. When you drive from Airport Kuching down to Kuching City Center, you see the construction of ART.
That's right.
So those are very visible, of course. But we have other initiatives which happens on the ground, which people are slowly enjoying the benefits, but probably not so visible to a lot of people, like especially those urban area. Now, you know that electricity supply,
Oh yeah.
we are actually over 90% reaching the population, even in the rural area. So thanks to some initiatives through PCDS, all right, we call SARES, all right, Sarawak Rural Electrification Scheme, right? So maybe not areas are on the grid itself, but we are using alternative to the grid, like solar, all right? And not only that, like water supply, on average, we reach about 85%. Of course, the percentage is still yet to be caught up in the rural areas, but through SAWAS, Sarawak Water Supply Scheme, especially in the rural area, through alternative methods as well. So all these, although are alternative, but we will catch up when the grid actually reach all the areas. But these are what happened on the ground. So we will make sure that by 2030, when the plan reach 2030, everybody in Sarawak, whether it's urban, whether it's in the rural, kampong, everybody will enjoy 100% clean water and also electricity. And not only that, I think another important thing is the what you call the internet accessibility. All right. So through what we call my SRN, all right, we are actually extending all this accessibility to the rural areas. So the kids in the lawn house, in the rural schools, they can also go to internet, all right,
And watch Netflix.
like and watch Netflix, like what our premier says, ketek aja, you get the information, you tap into the world.
Okay. So these are the more the quieter efforts being done. Great. So one of the headlines that really caught my attention, or I think for that matter everyone's attention, is the free education in 2026. Yeah. But some people wonder whether it's more of a political promise rather than a concrete reality. So maybe we get to hear from you. Is it just a promise, or is there already a concrete implementation plan
Yeah, I think skepticism happens
everywhere?
everywhere, right? So, but I think you can rest assured that Sarawak government has announced it by next year, very soon, 2026 is coming. You will see that your children, right, your siblings, who are able to be accepted by universities in Sarawak,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those which are owned by Sarawak government, you will receive free education, right? Believe it or not, come next year, you will see that happen.
Oh,
Uh, so, of course, it still focus on STEM,
mm-hmm.
right, aspects and some of the criterias. And not only that, free education, free tuition fee, but Sarawak government is willing also
Mm-hmm.
to top up your living expenses,
Mm.
right, through a lot of
I
initiatives.
see.
So I think, yeah, it's only a few months left.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I think rest assured, you will enjoy that benefit. And that is the first in Malaysia
Wow.
among all the states and regions.
Mm-hmm. So that's really happening.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Other than that, what
Mm.
also excites us all is that we've also seen updates about Air Borneo,
Yeah.
okay, being formed and Sarawak pushing for also green energy.
Yeah.
So what do those actually means to everyday people in Sarawak?
Yeah. So A Borneo, I think it will be very relevant to Sarawakians, especially I think during school holidays,
Mm-hmm.
all right, when air tickets are soaring
Oh
high,
yes.
whether Air Asia or Malaysia Airlines. But I think our premier has that vision, right? We want our people to also enjoy the connectivity with the outside world. Not only the people, the lay people, but at least businessmen, investors, tourists, they need that connectivity to come to Sarawak. So that's why Sarawak government, which actually has taken over Mas Wing, and by next year, after we got all the necessary permits, after the rebranding of the airline, we will fly. All right. First, of course, is domestic.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever flown by Mas
That's
Wings
wings, yeah.
within Sabah Sarawak. But our vision, we are big and far,
Mm-hmm.
right? We want to fly regional.
Regional.
So rest assured, this is for the connectivity of the people, right?
Mm.
Imagine you want to go to Kuala Lumpur.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, during festive seasons,
Yep.
right? The tickets are sold out, and even you can get a seat. It's soaring high
So
tickets.
yeah,
Yeah.
4 figures.
So Sarawak government is willing, all right, to make sure that will benefit Sarawakians in terms of fare, in terms of frequency, especially during festive seasons. All right, and about green
Green
economy
economy.
that
That's right.
you mentioned just now. Green economy, I think, putting in a nutshell, is we still have this thriving economy.
Mm-hmm.
Business goes on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think one important factor is under the green economy, we make sure our efforts are sustainable.
That's right.
Are sustainable. So sustainable means development goes on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Construction goes on,
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure continues to be laid out, but in doing so, in achieving economic prosperity, we make sure that our environment, our forests, our national parks, our practices continues to be green, continues to be sustainable. Why? Because I think the main thing about sustainability is we do not want whatever we enjoy today,
Mm-hmm.
we deprive the future
Future
generations.
generation. That's right.
We want Sarawak to be as green as what we have now for our
Yeah.
future generations. That's why not only government practices, our practices, we are promoting a lot of recycling, green waste management, you know, green practices, so that, as I said, Sarawak will be green and as enjoyable
Yes.
as now for many, many generations, many, many years to come. This is what we call green economy, which the world now is focusing on that. The way we produce electricity, the way we do our agriculture, everything should be sustainable. So that's green economy
Wow, that's really, really interesting.
in the late term.
So again, sometimes we don't realize the value of strategies.
Yeah.
Like what you've been sharing. Those are really, really wonderful, amazing kind of strategies.
Yeah.
But sometimes, the value of this all, we don't really realize it until we imagine what life would be without it. So without PCDS, what exactly would the rakyat lose? Maybe without even realizing it, what would you think, Dato'?
Yeah. So I think PCDS, as we mentioned, all right, most of the government plans talk about economic prosperity, development, infrastructure, facilities, and so on. But if we don't have PCDS, I think we will lose out, especially on social inclusivity, right? So government puts it in documented form that we want economic prosperity to be shared, to be cascaded down to the grassroots. That's why Premier has already mentioned many times, even though Sarawak has been recognized as a high-income state by the World Bank, but our next effort will be to make sure this high-income status is enjoyable by every household.
I mean, you say the spin-off.
Yes, the spin-off, yes. So not only the state on the whole is prosper, but every household. So we want to make sure that our household income, our target is 15,000 Malaysian ringgit for every household. So if we don't have PCDS, if government doesn't put down this target, I think we will lose out a lot. And also not only household income or social inclusivity, but what about our environment? When we chase after a lot of development, when we do a lot of infrastructure, but we must also make sure our environment is protected. Whatever we do is sustainable. So PCDS is something that if we do not have it, if we did not think about it in 2021, I think we are still just continue things as usual, like the 5 years Malaysia plan. Yeah. So this is something which I think is different for Sarawak, especially our leaders have that vision, has that end in mind to say that we want Sarawak to be like this by 2030.
So in a way, it's like really like a catalyst to expedite the development of Sarawak.
Yes.
Okay, Dato', we move on to, in terms of shared responsibility, the people's role.
Yeah.
See, if the people don't care, can PCDS 2030 still succeed? Or will it risk becoming just an elite project for only a select few? So, every big plans runs the risk of leaving certain groups behind.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, Dato', who are the groups most at risk of being left behind in this journey of PCDS 2030?
Yeah, as we mentioned just now, I think PCDS is not for the government, right? It's not a document for the government. It's a document for you and me to understand what is Sarawak's aspiration, how we are moving forward with a lot of action plan. So, yep, a lot of things probably initiated by the government, right? But I think the people plays a role. Now, we have put in all these things for the people. So if the people doesn't take it, you don't understand. For example, like human capital, education. Government has rolled out so much for Sarawak. We emphasize on English education. We set up international schools for those B40 group, and underprivileged. We also have offered free education tertiary education for all Sarawakians. So if the parents, right, or even the students themselves, right, if they don't take this seriously, or even they don't know about these benefits, so I think you lose out. So when the government lays out all this pathway, make the pathway easier for you, I think it's all the more that we need to jump on the bandwagon. We make sure take it seriously, focus on our efforts on studies, get a tertiary education, all right? Because now it's easier for you to get a tertiary education with all these benefits and incentives. And jump on the bandwagon that Sarawak now focus on a lot of digital economy and also high tech economy, especially the green, right? So we are offering a lot of green jobs when we are moving towards 2030. So this is something new. So you should grab that opportunity.
Not to be missed.
Yes, not to be missed. Don't miss the bus again.
I think that's a very comprehensive answer from you, Dato. But the thing is still, sometimes development seems to be very city-centered. City-centered.
Sure.
Raising concerns for those who are in the rural and the remote areas. So how does PCDS make sure that progress doesn't just benefit the big cities, but also reaches the rural and the remote areas?
Yeah. So I think one of the pillars of PCDS, as we talk about PCDS, will be social inclusivity. Yes.
Yeah.
So meaning bridging the gap between the have and have-nots, between the urban and the rural, right? So I've explained just now about the electrification scheme, about the water supply scheme,
and also the
about the
connectivity,
broadband connectivity. So those are happening on the ground. It means that the government actually not focus only on urban areas, cities, but we take care of rural communities. Jadi kampung-kampung, rumah panjang, memang kita akan mendidik berat semua infrastruktur yang ada, termasuk air, api, dan juga Wi-Fi. Yeah. So not only infrastructure, you can see government are building a lot of bridges now, right? So this bridge the gap between the urban and the rural. Before, I have to drive to my hometown Cebu, probably because of the two lane, the risk of overtaking, and the bumpy road surface,
slopes.
So I took probably like 7 hours,
7 hours
to make sure I'm safe. But now I just drove twice this year. It's only like 4 hours and a half, right? So you can see that it bridged the gap between the rural and the urban area. And not only that, infrastructure, but I think we are going into a lot of human capital and skills development for the rural youth people. So you can see we have Tegas, we have Centex. So these are the institutions which actually open up such opportunity for rural community, especially the rural youths. So grab those opportunity, all right? Upskill yourself so that you are ready for this green economy of Sarawak towards 2030.
Great. So let's bring it down to a more personal level.
Yeah.
In the terms that the ordinary people listening right now, okay? Kita bawa sikit ke bawah supaya semua rakyat dapat memahaminya.
Okay.
Jadi, what can they do tomorrow to play a part, to be part of PCDS 2030? Apa yang mereka boleh sumbangkan itu?
Yeah. So I think the most important thing for Sarawakians in terms of our journey towards PCDS 2030 is first, you must really make an effort, all right, to understand what is PCDS 2030. Because if you don't understand, you will not be able to work or to join the others to get the benefit of 2030. So you need to understand. only after you understand apa dia PCDS 2030 about Sarawak wants to be economically prosper. Also, Sarawak wants to be socially inclusive. Sarawak wants to be a sustainable environment. Only when you understand this, right, can you move together with the government, with the business sector, with the other peers, with your other neighbors. Together, we can make this happen. It's very important. And number two, not only you know about what is PCDS, but I think you have to make an effort how to upskill yourself. All right. When the government is moving, when the business is moving, when your neighbors are moving, when your other students are moving, you need to move also. So when you want to move, is upskill yourself. We talk about digital economy, so you upskill yourself. Digital skills. We talk about AI now. All right. So you really need to upskill yourself so that we can join the bandwagon and move together. And also, what are those green economy? How would you protect an environment? How can you change your lifestyle so that everything you do is for sustainability, right? Recycling, you talk about what is hydrogen, what is carbon footprint. So if you can understand all this and try to play your part in all this, I think this is how all Sarawakians, you and me, we can move together to support the government and also to help ourselves to achieve the benefits of 2030.
Okay. So, Dato, maybe this is something a bit more serious, yeah?
Yeah.
We're talking about policies here by the state government, which is good, okay? But policies, they often sound good on paper, but the
Yeah.
real test is whether people can actually access and use them.
Yeah.
So, although all these grants, the platforms, the opportunities, are they truly acceptable to the Rayat? Or do they remain more like a policy documents rather than the real life tools?
Yeah. So I think, of course, all these policies is documented, like what you said, people read it. So if you can't see what are or what is in it for me, right? People, don't get engaged, and they just take it as another story. Yeah, yeah. But I think, to be fair to the government, I think we should also look out for what has been achieved today, right? As we talk about, if you make an effort to read the news, if you make an effort to look at UKA's social media, TV Sarawak, you will, I think you will hear that government has done this and that. Like what I said, the bridges, so many bridges are completed, and it helps to bridge the gap between this region and another region. You talk about electricity now is almost like 90% reaching every household. Water supply reaching about 85% on the average. And also broadband connectivity. It has improved over the years under the PCDS initiatives. So if we can make an effort to look into all these statistics, all these things which are happening on the ground, right? How government set up institutions like Stantex, the gas, to upskill our youths, and also how we actually emphasize on tertiary education. All these are happening, all right? So I think if you can see things happen, if you appreciate what are happening, I think you will not say that PCDS policy aja. Itu bukan shot sendiri. Itu memang adalah
Really
apa-apa yang berlaku on the ground.
Bukan ujian atau?
Bukan ujian, bukan cubaan.
Bukan cobaan. Okay, so I think we move on to the next segment, which is on the connecting policies.
Okay.
And like PCDS 2030 isn't the only plan on the table.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, uh, but does it really align with other policies, or do we risk having too many overlapping roadmaps? So my question is, there are many different agendas in motion right now. I
Yeah.
think from MA63 to
Mm.
digitalization and rural development. So how does PCDS fit into these other policies?
Yeah. Now we should look at PCDS as the overall roadmap, all right, for Sarawak to develop itself, to become a developed state or region by 2030. But other policies, I think, becomes the fuel, right? The fuel for PCDS to be propelled forward. For example, MS63,
That's
right? So MS63 is a fuel to PCDS in the sense that it provides us, when we get back our rights, no, it provides a financial strength,
Yeah.
right? We have more revenue, 14.2 billion last year. And also, apart from that, it gives us the legal autonomy, right, to get back a lot of our rights, right, like the aggregator for
Oil and
gas,
gas, yeah.
oil and gas. For example, environmental matters recently, and also you can see now all projects, federal projects under 50 million, right, can be implemented by JKR Sarawak.
I see.
You see, so that gave us a lot of not only financial strength, but also legal autonomy, rights for us to propel PCDS 2030 faster, stronger, and surely. You know, so other blueprints are also giving us more focus and targeted direction, like the sustainability blueprint. You know, hydrogen economy roadmap. You know, our gas roadmap. So even though there are so many policies in place, but they are all in line with PCS 2030, giving that power, giving that no, to propel PCDS 2030 forward to make sure it achieve its target by 2030. Yeah.
That's a really powerful push.
Yeah.
Okay. As for the rakyat, Dato', the natural question will be, why should they even care about whether policies connect or not?
Yeah.
So the question is, what happen if they don't? You know?
Mm. I think, like what I said, PCTS is the overall roadmap. All right. So people should not just watch things happen.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
They should participate. They should understand, and they should be together with the government. We should make things happen. All right.
That's right.
So if you do not know or do not understand how all these policies fall in place, so you will not be able to participate.
That's right.
You may just watch things happen
Or
rather than
wonder what happened.
yeah, wonder what happened, rather than make things happen
right.
together with the business sector, together with the government, together with the communities, right? So it's very important.
Yeah.
I think one question that we should ask ourselves is, how can I, as a Sarawakian, participate in PCDS in various aspects, right? Like what I said, when government provides opportunity for you, you should grab those opportunities, upskill yourself, get your tertiary education done, right? And move into those areas that government is focusing, the green economy, all right? Even our premier talks about aerospace, you know.
That's right.
So it's something very big, but we can do it because we have that plan, we have that roadmap, and we have those bahan api or fuel through various MS63 rights, through our various policies and blueprint.
Yeah, all the, I would say, the available resources that is available.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I thought we're moving on to the closing and our aspiration.
Yeah.
Well, to the listeners, yeah, 2030 isn't just a number on a calendar. Okay? It's a marker of whether Sarawak will become a model state or a missed opportunity, right? So looking ahead, everyone is curious about where Sarawak will be in 2030 beyond just the numbers and the documents. So Dato, what are your hope for Sarawak by 2030?
Yeah, so of course, PCDS has outlined the target very, very clearly. So we will strive towards that. But I think in everybody's mind, a developed Sarawak, a thriving society by 2030 should be our dream place where you and me, right, can work, can play, can live in, right? So to me, that is our aspiration. By 2030, Sarawak will be a thriving society where you and me, where this generation and the future generation can comfortably can live in, can work in, can play in.
Okay. So thriving is more than just surviving. It's,
Yeah.
you thrive means that we are able to enjoy the reap whatever
Yes.
what we sow.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, I think it's only fair that for you to leave some message to our younger generation. Many feels that the policy doesn't talk, doesn't touch their everyday lives. So, what message would you have for this younger generation with regards to PCDS 2030? Last question, Dato'.
Yeah. So for the youth out there, for all the Sarawakian youth, I hope from today, you should be able to understand what PCDS 2030 is, all right? Because PCDS 2030 is your story, is my story, and we should be the co-authors of it, all right? To make sure that we enjoy the future. So PCDS is your story, is your future.
I love that. That's just really beautiful. Okay. Well, terima kasih. Thank you so much, Bahagia Datu Hii Chang Kee, for the eye-opening insights. You've not only answered our questions, but also you sparked new reflections for all of us. Okay.
Thank you.
To our listeners, remember this, yeah. PCDS 2030 is not just the government story. Okay.
Yeah.
It is our story.
Yeah.
So the choice is ours, whether to remain spectators or to step in as active players shaping Sarawak's future. So until next time, keep tuning with AZAM Community Podcast, Brewing Conversation, moving Sarawak forward.